going on, guys? I wanted to talk about this, and I know I'm late. I was focusing on music for a while. But I want to talk about Candace Owens and Destiny having this debate where she dog walked him. Like, it was embarrassing. We're not going to play the whole damn debate, right? But I want to just go over a few key points and moments where she destroyed him. Like, he embarrassed himself. It showed why Destiny's not really that legitimate. He's good against people that don't know what the hell they doing. But let's take a look at this, man. Y'all know I'm a fan of Candace Owens, so I'm biased. But she did cook the hell out of him, though, right? And I will be able to judge that in an unbiased way. Play this. Let's see. Looking good as hell, too. He pretty much did. Yeah, he didn't want that, what is it, discovery to come out. He didn't want all those case files. A lot of nasty details. Where the hell is that remote? It's okay. I do think that when it comes to the Diddy lawsuit, that guy that is coming at Diddy, this is him trying to get back because Diddy didn't fulfill the promise of getting him some number ones or getting him awards and money. Right? But hold on. You said no sound? How? You see something? Okay, that's crazy. But yeah, hold on, I'll fix it. But yeah, the guy that P. Diddy is being sued by recently, right? Recently, I do think that a suspect was going on with that case involving him. Diddy is probably doing some nastiness, but should we just believe automatically everything that's being said when the same guy tried to sue him for like music reasons? And I don't think that was successful. So now let me come at you from this angle. Not saying that everything that he's saying is false, but I'm saying take it with a grain of salt, right? Also, the audio should be fixed now.
Name of the woman that gets the drugs. Here's a drug dealer. Here's a photo of me with this person. Here's the blood on the floor that night. It's like we've never seen this much proof to make those claims. So it's definitely something to watch.
Somebody said, I just see in chat, somebody said over 100 million to the first civil suit that got settled in less than 24 hours. Is that true?
What's that? Over 100 million to
the first civil suit that got settled in less than 24 hours.
Did that happen with this?
I have no idea.
You might be talking about Cassie, because that got settled pretty quickly. And yeah, that Diddy's basically just at the top of a gang, and the person that's above him is Lucien Grange, which is just wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? You made a mention that this might be an indicator to things that have happened with Black culture. What do you mean by that, I guess?
So there has been just a very obvious corrosion in Black culture. Like the music that I grew up in, I was listening to Temptations, Lauryn Hill, like it was all about like family, love. It was real talent. And then something just really shifted and it all became about derogatory, debased gangster rap. And it's the change that I've noted in a lot of my commentary. And, you know, I think other people have, like I asked the question, there's a really, in my view, disgusting artist, just in terms of the stuff that she publishes, the photos that she publishes, named Sexy Red, who they're now making a thing, right? Who makes the decision to sign a Sexy Red? You're telling me you have all the money and all the talent at your fingertips, and you sign a woman who, at her baby shower, 9 months pregnant, however pregnant she was twerking and had her butt cheeks in, like somebody's face was inside of her butt cheeks. That to me is very intentional, because you're not signing her based on talent.
And she, after giving birth, twerked inside the hospital and showed her butt. That's what she do. It's not. She was just on stream with Aiden Ross recently, and she got up and showed her butt. It's crazy. Yeah, why are they pushing that? I do agree with it. It does feel like an agenda.
You're not just signing her based on following. You're signing her because it's filth, and you're perpetuating this filth into my community. So, it's just something that I've noticed, something that I talk about often, that we're intentionally being sold crack. It feels like,
So, I'm trying to think of which direction I want to go.
Any direction you want. I'm an open book.
Yeah, you're fine.
Crazy.
There are so there are like two kind of different ways of viewing this. And I feel like you fall more to one side, and then I'll go my side, and then we can kind of see if we can iron out or figure where we are at, I guess, in the middle
my
here.
Side.
I feel like when you look at the evolution of, when we say like degenerate black culture or degenerate black music, I think we're generally talking about like the beginning of hip hop and rap, and then kind of the evolution of that going forward, coming away from like the R&B singers and everybody like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, right?
Yeah. But hip hop isn't always filth. But I get your point.
But that seems like
we're
the general. It feels like when I look at music, or if I look at music that people create, oftentimes the music is a reflection of their circumstances. And you can see, especially as America and the black communities became more conscientious maybe of the ghettos that they'd been kind of pushed into, or the policing situations that they'd had to be a part of, or drugs destroying their communities, et cetera, et cetera. And then those people turning to crime, that you also see the music and the art kind of reflect those conditions. And then those pieces of art that get created, especially the music, end up being like worldwide popular, like the most popular.
He's full of crap. Music when it first came out was party music, or I should say hip hop. Let me be specific. In the Bronx, it was party music, and then people would throw like conscious music within the party music, and you wouldn't even realize it was something with a message, like songs like White Lines, right? That had people in the club hitting an electric boogie and actually doing drugs. But mind you, the song is telling you to stay your ass away from drugs. No one even paid attention to it. That's crazy. That's insane. Or what about what's his name? Grandmaster Flash. He stayed pumping like things that sound like party music in general, but it was really like a lot of conscious and stuff with a message. It wasn't saying I need to shake my behind, right, and twerk with things in the air and doing all this nastiness and going beyond that. It wasn't doing that. So I think that this dude telling us, "Oh, well, it's your environment." Have you seen the Bronx back when hip hop started? It would have been worse then. It looked like, I ain't gonna tell you what it looked like. Like Afghanistan. It looked crazy. It looked bad. Look it up. Like, go and look up Grandmaster Flash's old music videos. I gotta show you. It looked bad. But what was he still talking about? Some positive stuff. Day to days. Don't push me to the edge. I'm having a hard time. Right? People are crazy.
Popular genre of music in the world is like hip hop and rap. So when I look at people pushing certain stuff today, I'm like, okay, well, we got two really big, in my opinion, I went to school for music. I don't know if you talk about the saxophone or whatever. So we had two really big contributions to the world of music from America. One was jazz, that came basically from the black community. And then the second was like rap and hip hop. These forms of music become popular. People see that it's popular. They want to get involved. Obviously, the money men, the people on top, they want to kind of continue to push this because it's popular, and everybody around the world consumes it. I feel like there are a lot of market forces at work that kind of perpetuate this and keep this happening. And that feels pretty satisfying to me to explain what's going on. So when we ask, like, why is it a woman twerking with a...
Did he just go through all of that to agree with her? Because that's what she's saying. There are people perpetuating this. What was all of that dialogue for if you agree?
Somebody's facing her butt cheeks because, well, for whatever reason, that's like what the worldwide culture seems to want to see right now. And then on the other side, it feels like from people, I don't want to just say conservatives, but I would say broadly speaking, I guess I'll say on your side in general, it feels like there's this idea that there's this much more intentional or like malevolent force working behind the scenes.
Yes, there is. And so I'm going to push back on what you're suggesting here. You're suggesting that this reflects the community, and they're sharing their stories in a way that makes sense. That's completely not true. Okay, WAP does not reflect the circumstances that Black people are living in. You know, singing about your vagina and how hard it's getting pounded is not the circumstance of living in the hood. I come from nothing. It's not that did not make me feel closer to the circumstances that I grew up in. And unfortunately, that's actually what people are telling Black Americans. Like, actually, it's working the other way. You're putting something, you know, your eyes and your ears are the windows to the soul. And you're basically, when you celebrate someone, and I'm using Cardi B here as an example because I think people are probably more familiar with her than they are with Sexy Red. When you put someone like that on the Grammys stage, which is, again, a decision being made. When I was growing up, the best, most talented people were on the Grammy stage. It was something you could watch with your family.
What Cardi is doing on stage is wow, bro. To have that on a Grammy or Meg Thee Stallion is insane, right? What they wilding, straight wilding, right? Like it's nastiness. You ever seen the TV show P-Valley? That's what it looked like. It looked like that, and yeah, that's self-explanatory if you ever saw it.
Family. And we still had poor people. You still had, you still had poor people. You still had people that were living in the hood. Okay. We didn't need somebody talking about their vagina in order to feel seen. So what you're doing is you're setting the stage for younger girls who aspire to celebrities to say, okay, well, if I mimic that behavior, I too can become famous. What you're actually doing is you're setting the idols that people are going to look up to and people are going to think this is what I should aspire to. So it's actually working in the exact opposite way.
Can I ask a question? In that like evolution of things, so if we look at like WAP in particular, hasn't it generally been the case that music is always kind of pushing these sexual boundaries? So it might have been Elvis grabbing his crotch and dancing. It might have been Michael Jackson's dancing is incredibly suggestive, if you've seen that. It might have been in Woodstock, all the loser hippies talking about love, sex.
It's my suggestion. WAP is blatantly telling you. Ain't no suggestion. They putting it in front of your face and telling you. There's no comparison. You're bugging.
Rock and roll and drugs. Wouldn't like WAP just be kind of like the next evolution in a long chain of
pushing boundaries is not degeneracy. Okay.
Right.
And so here's what I'll say to you. Why don't you pull up the lyrics to WAP and read them right now?
Well, I don't. Why would I need to do that?
It's just Woodstock. We're just pushing the boundaries a little bit. You probably have never even read.
She got him. Oh my God. This is embarrassing. She got him already. You scared to pull the lyrics. You just made a comparison. Let's pull up Elvis lyrics and let's pull up WAP and let's see which one's degenerate.
The lyrics to WAP.
Because I think I did because I think Ben Shapiro had a huge thing about it.
He couldn't have said, you may have seen him reading the sanitized version of WAP, not the one that is not sanitized. Like the sanitized one, which is still bad, that she can perform at the Grammys, is what he read. You should read the lyrics to WAP before you make commentary that it's a reflection of what Black Americans are living through, or it's just somebody that's pushing a boundary. It's not that.
How do you explain the fact that like WAP was like a #1 like worldwide hit then?
Notice how he still don't want to pull up the lyrics though. Notice how he still has not pulled up the lyrics.
As what I said to you is that they are artificially creating artists at this point. There's no question. And by the way, the Diddy docs, which I found to be a very compelling point, was that Diddy said to the guy, allegedly, who was the producer, that if he was willing to engage in homosexual behavior with him, that he would get him Producer of the Year Grammy. Okay, so what is that?
I don't know if any of this is true. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard it was true. I also wouldn't be surprised if I heard it was all a lie because this dude didn't get the money that he was promised. I'm not going to say that it's out the question, though. Diddy out here, wow.
I tell you, it means that the entire system is artificial. And by the way, this is something that Kanye said 10 years ago, or however long ago it was, when he took the trophy from Taylor Swift and said, like, this is all fake. This is not even based on merit anymore. And that is my point. The industry is not based on...
You said, I'm sorry, and I do believe everyone is allowed an opinion, but who the F is this guy to even speak on Black culture? Facts. Right, that's crazy that he's like, I'm going to be the defender. Fam, you remember the movie Get Out? That's who it's about. That's right there. Right there. You ever watch the movie Get Out? Jordan Peele? Right there. That is exactly what it's about. Why are you putting a cape on and being the black defender? And you wrong. Because you're what's the word for it? Generalizing and putting us in stereotypes. No, we do not live the life automatically that Sexy Red is talking about. That's crazy. Yo, you're bugging. You think that's just every black person is living the life of Sexy Red?
On merit. It's not based on capitalism.
It
is based on selling ideas. So
Sure.
it is, who do we want to artificially make the person that every black girl will look up to, or who they will aspire to?
Mm-hmm. And so I can definitely understand that, like, maybe award shows can be rigged, or people can think different things about, who's being awarded based on merits for the Grammys or something like that.
You got like a cat or something in the background moving.
But like, WAP was genuinely, do you think it wasn't genuinely a popular song, or do you think that music execs have the ability to manufacture that desire publicly?
The latter. So if you start playing something tons of times on the airways, and the latter, you can definitely make something popular. There are songs that I don't even like, that I've heard so much that I know every single lyric to. And I'm like, I don't even know how I know every single lyric to the song, but it's received this many plays. You put it everywhere. You award the person, you invite them to bizarre circumstance. Like, there's absolutely no reason that Cardi B is invited to sit down and ask questions to Joe Biden.
So
in no scenario, unless you are really making an effort to legitimize this person and to make this person aspirational. Again, this is not an insult to Cardi. I actually think that personality-wise, she's got a ton of talent and she's interesting. And I've said great things about her on Love and Hip Hop, and there are elements of.
I agree. I said she was a star when I first saw her on Love and Hip Hop too. I remember the moment vividly. I was in a room full of people in my apartment, staying somewhere a long time ago. And I remember it came on the screen because some girl put it on. And I was like, that girl's entertaining as fuck. And everyone in the whole room was like, yeah, we love her. She's mad funny. You got to check her out on Instagram. This is before anyone even knew she did music. I don't even think she did music at that time. Right? People just like her personality and she's hilarious, right? It's entertaining. That don't mean that we should put her on stage and have her wilding out, right? She don't even abide by her own song. She says she don't cook, she don't clean. Video footage has come out of her cooking and cleaning. With her husband filming her saying, you lying in your songs. She don't care if other people listen to, like children's listen to her music. But when her daughter or her child comes in the room and her song's playing, she runs to cut it off. Because she don't want that being... It's good for the others, but not good for yours. It's almost as if you're trying to push a certain agenda that people are paying you for. Let's not mention the fact that Nicki Minaj already exposed that record labels were paying other female rappers and signing them and building their career up to do diss songs at her. Who's one of these female artists that conveniently came out and just started going hard against Nicki around the same time that it got exposed that this is a fact, that record labels were really doing this? Cardi B. It's not a far reach to say that she's a plant. She don't write her music. It's been exposed since day one. Meg Thee Stallion's ex-boyfriend used to be Cardi B's ghostwriter, but he ain't a ghost because demos already got released. So once again, how she get these record deals?
Her that make her a star. But what I am saying is that a lot of that is manufactured, and I just don't see how anybody, when looking.
Don't you think it's entirely possible or easily possible? So like, I feel like there's like so many things wrong with this. So one is, why wouldn't competing record labels start pushing talent that's actually popular that people want to hear? I think that would be a big question. The second thing would be, how can we explain these top-down domination, this type of media popularity through all of our reality TV shows, all of our TikTok stuff?
They're not pushing what people want to hear. They're pushing what they want you to hear. That's what Candace is trying to say, but this dude's not listening. He just wants to argue.
All of our YouTube videos and the music industry. And then how can you explain that all happening worldwide?
Sure.
Like, it feels like that to try to explain this through people that are exercising control on these platforms would require more control than anybody has ever been able to exercise on any platform ever. And they're doing it like on a multi-country, multi-stage
it's just
level.
called, it's very easy actually. It's a very basic concept pertaining to governments. They need propaganda. Hollywood is propaganda. You should, for those of you that are watching this live, go listen to the conversation that Joe Rogan had with Cat Williams, where he talked about all of this. And he said, I know you think that you're being entertained. And this is somebody that comes from inside of the industry. And he starts talking about the Diddy stuff, the idea that in order to climb higher, you kind of have to engage in nefarious behavior, and how he was collecting all of this information. And
I'm trying to make sure I never do that. I'm good. I'm good with the organic growth, working hard, getting in or out the mud. I'm good with that. I would rather that, actually, for this other stuff, right? But if other people want to jump the line and skip and do a lot of nasty things to get to that point, then is what it is.
He was speaking out about what was happening inside of the industry, and he said it is twofold. You might be being entertained, but they are making decisions about what will entertain you. And a great circumstance in which he presented that as evidence of that is transgenderism. And he asked hold on.
Okay.
He asked a question which should be answered. He said to Joe Rogan, and he laughed about it. He was like, a guy wears a dress on the red carpet, okay? And then the media tells you how great he wore the dress. And he's like, he said, tell me one situation where he didn't wear the dress wonderfully, when he didn't wear the dress in a way that was amazing. It's because they have all agreed that this is the narrative. And then he talked about the fact that the record
For one, I want to say that we have no hate or disdain for the alphabet in any way, shape, or form, man. Shout outs to you guys. I got supporters as part of the alphabet. But damn it, she right every time. Like, I've never seen a male wear a dress on any kind of platform, red carpet, and them say horrible outfit. Didn't match the shoes. Didn't match him here. It was twice his size. Just never. It's always praised, which makes you think, why is it like an automated response that, like, I'm even nervous even speaking about it right now. But I do think it is kind of crazy or coincidental that we've never really heard anyone drag someone's outfit when a male is wearing a dress. I do think that is kind of strange to me, and it might be based off of fear, right? You don't want to be the magazine that roasts somebody for doing that in today's day and age, because you can get canceled. Think about it. Homophobia was used as an excuse for that nasty dude from Nickelodeon to be able to do all the things he did to those children. They was able to get it off because if you ever question it, you were homophobic. So if I say this dude got a bad outfit, people might label me as that because I said them shoes don't match that dress. That's crazy. It's suspect. We're going to watch a little bit more.
execs also own the publications that are saying that something is amazing or something is not amazing. And that is just plain old-fashioned propaganda. So you don't necessarily need to detach what we're talking about from your concept of what governments are interested in. It's always
You're going to say something stupid.
So I understand Cat Williams has said this. I also understand that Cat Williams was at one point in his life addicted to crack, and I think he's famous for losing a fight to a high school kid. I think this benched his career for a while.
I can insult him, but it doesn't.
I'm not insulting. I'm just saying that.
Not only did you insult him, you lied. For one, he wasn't famous for getting beat up by a kid. He did get beat up by that kid, though. He did, and the kid was aggressive. The kid was aggressive. He did get waxed by that kid, but he didn't get famous for. Cat Williams was famous for comedy and major roles in movies like Friday and First Sunday, and just his comedy and stand up. He's famous for going against the industry since the day one. He's famous for calling out famous actors, exposing them, and them suing him to where he has to change the name in his comedy special. That's a fact. That's a fact. Check out the Pimp Chronicles. I had to look it up back then. Who's this Professor Vavaba? And I looked up and said, oh, wait, Professor Ogilvy from the Parkers sued him because he told him what he saw at a party. So he had to legally change it in the DVD version. It's kind of crazy, right? So yeah, that's wild. And you accused him of being on crack. Do you have any proof of that? Did you ever see him smoke crack? But you just accused him of being a crackhead? And you didn't do it for comedy. You did it to smear his name. I told you he was going to say something stupid, and seconds later, he said something stupid.
It says 2 + 2 = 4, 2 + 2 = 4.
I'm not insulting him. I'm just saying that to like lean into his testimony, who also we would both acknowledge has a lot to gain by giving like incredulous testimony like this, like saying like, oh my God, these crazy things are happening, right? I don't know if I would just say, well, right, he does. The fact that you're talking about him and you're citing him and you know it, right? If anybody else was saying a similar thing, we'd say, well, okay, they're saying this because they have something to gain for it, right? He knows that this is going to be a hot take, and he knows that it's going to go viral if he says it, and he knows he's going to get a lot of eyes on him for it. So I think it's good to call that into question. I think the issue that I have when it comes to the
word, that's why he's been saying it his entire career before the internet was as big as it was and going viral and all this other stuff existed. That's why he's been talking the same way the entire time, Destiny. Right. That's why there was other interviews that didn't go viral with him saying the same thing. Right. People don't realize, like, that's how YouTube works, right? Because it went viral recently, people went back and watched all the old stuff that made it seem as if it went viral. No. Right? The old Eddie Griffin clips with him telling the truth about Hollywood, that started popping up, even though they're years old. Same thing with Monique. Monique got a chance to do her interview, and that went viral. She's been literally saying the same story for years. Just no one would hear her because people like this loser, Destiny, would just call them crazy, say they on crack with no actual proof.
The accusation that everything is some top-down level propaganda is, I feel like the conversation shifts away from the important stuff, which is why are people attracted to this type of stuff? Why do people vibe with it so much? Why are we replacing traditional, better forms of media or more thought-provoking, I don't know what you would call it, forms of media with this type of stuff? Instead of having conversations about the culture and the society, it's all fixated on some weird top-down plot to like control media consumption.
I think you just like to be contrarian.
Yes.
I don't understand the point that you're making here. Like, of course.
Wait, hold on, wait. Let me restate that. I'm sorry. The point I'm making is very clear. If I was going to, I've got a almost 13-year-old son in a few days. Okay, if I was to see that he's consuming media, my go-to would be like, "Hey, Nathan, why are you watching this? This is crazy. We need to look at something else. I need to, like, who are your friends? What are you looking at online? Like, we need to change your media consumption habits because this isn't working." I would never think like, I think that the school is involved in disseminating media towards him, and there's no way that we can change this, because I feel like on your
all she's saying is, let's look at the people that's distributing, and that's all she says. Let's look at who's putting the stuff out there, and you're so much protecting them. It looks really weird. Why are you protecting mainstream media so much, Destiny? This is strange as hell. And also, damn, Candace Owens looking good. She ain't got to show nothing.
side of the story, these people are basically like, we're hopeless. There's nothing we can do.
No, it's not hopeless, but if you want to be able to do something about something, you need to be able to acknowledge the something, right?
What you can't
make it it's a conspiracy. It's like, no, when I graduated high school, there wasn't a single trans kid. Now you've got like more than 50% of kids that think that they're other. That is obviously propaganda.
I got no hate or disdain for the alphabet community. Nigga, listen, we could talk about that on my Rumble and on my Patreon. Maybe even my Discord. But I got no hate or disdain for the alphabet.
Never seen the media go after a black artist.
I didn't
like
say
this
it did. I didn't finish my statement. Why are you saying it doesn't matter? Why?
Behind them?
Well, it speaks to me specifically about which indictment you're talking about.
So the Mar-a-Lago case.
I actually haven't followed that one, so I'm not going to push back on that one, but I can tell you the ones that I have followed and I've given an answer on. Like, obviously, we've never seen the media or the justice system go after any president in the way that
doesn't matter. You could say the same about P. Diddy. You've never seen the media go after a black artist.
I didn't
like
say
this
it didn't. I didn't.
That's not true.
Why are you saying it doesn't matter? Why'd you just say that?
It could be that nobody's ever done something this.
But I haven't
before.
She didn't finish.
You're so contrarian that you haven't even let me finish.
Why do you keep calling?
Yo, because you are. See, and when I be having debates and I tell people this, like, yo, we can't talk at the same time. We got to take turns. You keep coming. It's because they're doing the same thing that Destiny is doing. They just want to argue. They don't want to actually make a good point. He's just cutting her off. He doesn't even want to hear what she has to say.
You haven't even let me finish my sentence. You said that doesn't matter. It's like, what do you?
Because you gave a point that was irrelevant.
I know, but like, I don't understand what you're objecting to. You said
the media's never gone after somebody like this before.
You asked me a question. Mm-hmm. I started to answer it by saying the media has never gone after anyone like this before.
She's in the middle.
And then you just said it doesn't matter. Because like, can I answer the question? Or you just gotta like contradict?
Yes.
I'm not contradicting. I'm just fighting the crazy narratives that prevent anybody from having a real analysis of any of the things going on. But
how can you say that's crazy? You can't say she was doing a crazy narrative because you didn't even let her finish to hear the full narrative. Like, that's insane. And then you say you want people, instead of analyzing, she was trying to, and you cut her off. This dude is a fool.
You can laugh your whole thing about.
All right, then since you know my narrative, even though you asked the question, I wasn't able to answer it.
You can answer the question.
I'm glad that you defeat the narrative. No, we're good.
I wouldn't want to.
We're good. I'm not going to have you ask. I'm not going to actually have you ask a question and then cut me off and say that I'm parroting a narrative when I haven't even told you what my opinion was. That's not you being interesting. That's you being obnoxious.
I think that you're trying to avoid answering the question
by being cut off.
That's crazy. I think you're trying to avoid letting her answer the question. I think you're trying to avoid answers. How about that? That sounds crazy. That's what I hate debating people like that. These niggas sound insane. They're not there to actually have a discussion or an actual debate. This is all just like, let me just counter whatever you're saying because my fans want to. You didn't even want to hear this woman out, bro.
By you?
I said you could finish it if you want.
You're trying to avoid answering the question. Quite literally, I was trying to answer the question and you cut me off. So we're good on that. We can move on and talk about something other than Trump and his 95 indictments.
I think it's 91 or 92.
Okay.
Go to the next one.
What do we talk about that won't get you as triggered?
Now does she look triggered? Fam. Does she look, in fact, Destiny looked really small, but does she look triggered? She looked calm as hell. She looks like the only one that's acting with maturity. That's triggered.
I just honestly, like I said to you in the beginning of this, I said, I am an open book.
I'm just curious what you think about the Trump indictments. Do you think that a civil suit that's filed where there isn't a grand jury that looks over it, there's not like it's not like a DA case, it's not like a federal prosecutor. Do you think that the Diddy stuff is like rock solid? Do you think that's really, really, really important to look at? But then when we look at indictments that have gone to,
I hate when people ask you like something, but then they only want you to say what they want you to say. Like, that's crazy.
Grand juries that have then issued warrants or subpoenas or whatever. I was just curious if you think that the credibility on that side is as heavy as the P. Diddy stuff. I
was really happy to answer that question. Would you like me to answer it?
Sure.
So I would say that you are comparing two cases that are not similar, and I'll tell you why they aren't similar. In the case of Diddy, you have somebody that has no power that is filing.
Comparing Diddy to Trump is crazy. You compare P. Diddy to Trump? We're going to watch a little bit more and then we're going to move on to the next.
This and producing evidence to say that the justice, essentially the same thing that people that defend Trump are saying, the justice system is corrupt, right? That these people are responding and being motivated by things like the LAPD's involvement that night in writing a fake police report, if his allegations are true. And he had photos and said that he was the person that said call 911, and then seeing the media report on it and lie about what happened at that studio is very scary. It's scary if unless he faked these blood photos, which is a plausibility, but it shows you that there are people that are sitting at the top that have a ton of power, right? So the people that are acknowledging that and then also saying that those same people, that same network of individuals that can make up allegations and make them go away with the media or stay and make it a big deal because of the media are defending Trump and what's happening to him. So these two things are not at conflict with one another, what's happening with Diddy and what's happening with Trump. It's actually, they complement one another in terms of what we're saying. Now, the only case I followed two of them, the Fannie Willis one.
Can I ask a question about the LAPD thing?
Yeah.
So if we're worried because in the P. Diddy case, it looks like the LAPD at the very top might have been involved with something, if that's the claim. I mean, isn't Donald Trump at the very, very, very top? If he's the president, isn't he literally like the top guy in the world?
He doesn't control the courts. And that's, hold on. The point of exactly being is that if they feel that they have a person that they cannot control, so if there is this blackmail ring that exists, and it's starting to look like there is, definitively, and I very much believe that, and I am not ashamed to say that it is pretty much the only thing that makes sense offense in Hollywood, is what I read in these documents, then it would be clear as to why it is that when you are existing outside of the ring, or you are somebody that cannot be controlled, you are somebody that is attacked. Now, again, we have heard many artists, and I like that we have this example in Hollywood, because we don't need to go down the path of Trump derangement. We can actually talk about people that...
No, that's facts, though. We're going to finish the other part another time during the next stream, but I don't want to watch the whole thing in full. Loud ass motorcycle outside. Damn. That I don't know if y'all was even able to hear that. But yeah, fam, it seemed like she was just cooking that little boy, and he didn't know what he was talking about, fam. That dude's a sucker. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section.